Hey, this is Brian Bernard of Resonant Ghost, and you are watching Inside the Resonance. Today I'm going to be talking about my song, Murals. In 2017, I moved to the Pacific Northwest part of the United States. And at the time, I started to get really into this documentary series called 0 Hour. And the premise behind that entire series was pick a disaster and go to the hour leading up to it. Now, this is typically, a lot of them anyway, were about human-made disasters. There was one on Chernobyl, there was one on Columbine. The particular one that inspired this song actually inspired an entire album as well. It's not the Chernobyl one, although that did as well. This one was the one on 9/11. Now, this song has nothing to do with patriotism or terrorism or anything like that. It came actually from a really weird way that my curiosity was piqued at the time. So, in the documentary, it mentions that almost 3,000 people lost their lives all at once, pretty much. I mean, some of them did a little later on, but, in the space of a day, that's a lot. It's a lot of loss. And my curiosity was piqued in such a way that I just decided to go on Google and do a random search for how many stars are in the visible night sky. Just in an average place, on an average night, not in the Australian outback where you've got access to the entire Milky Way, nothing like that, just an average place. And it turned out, you guessed it, to be around 3,000. And this song has taken forever to write. So if the idea started in 2017, then the music didn't even start until 2019. No words even existed for it until about 2020. And then it was finally finished in 2022. I recorded it. It's on my album Closure. I feel like last night is the first time that I was satisfied with it through and through. Got a new outro for it. So yeah, it's great. It's great. That's what I love about live music, just to go on a little tangent, but you can kind of do what you want. So yeah, this song took forever. So background and inspiration was what I just mentioned with the 0 Hour documentary. And imagine loss, just loss of anything. It doesn't have to be a person. For me, it has been abilities, it's been a sense of self. It could be a loss of anything that matters to you greatly. It hurts really bad. It's like a lot of stars, if not all of them, were just completely wiped out of your night sky, and you're left in that pitch blackness. Because it's also a new moon, if we're getting, literal. Okay. But you're there, and what do you do with it? This song is really about, well, the chorus tells the entire story. Scrape our memory. Scrape it for what? Those beautiful parts, right? It's not a complete loss, right? If you did it and you enjoyed it, if you were with that person and you enjoyed some time together, there's something that you can find that is going to be beautiful. So the big challenge with this song is having a memory of the good rather than just having a good memory, which is great. And, it's something that I'm grateful for, is being able to remember quite a lot out of my life. But it's not always good stuff, I'm not gonna lie. But I would like to have a good memory of the good memories, right? And that's really the challenge behind this song, what it's really about. It's not just the comfort, but it's also about, and mainly about that challenge of, you lost whatever it is that you lost, can you still remember it fondly? Let's dive into some key elements. Now, you'll notice immediately the use of harmonics in this song, and there are a million of them. It's in the main riff, it's in the intro, it's in the interlude right before the final chorus. They're everywhere. And I think what inspired me to write these particular words with this particular music is that all of those harmonics, to me at least, sound and feel like stars are actually being made right in front of me. So I think that's really where all of the words came from, because the music came first and the words took their good, sweet time. Had it my way, this would have been in the bag 5 years ago, but that was just not the case. It was finished a couple of months ago. However long it's been. I'm still in 2020 time, so a week feels like yesterday and 70 years at the same time, so I don't know. Another key element is the structure, and it's not that crazy. Like, I'm not leading you through several different riffs like I am in Silver Scale. I'm not like reinventing anything. It's simply variations. I just said it was not about reinventing things, and I realize after I just said it, that's kinda exactly what variations are. Reinventing the riff, right? So I guess it is about reinventing the wheel in a sense. So it begins with the intro riff, which is the main riff just on a higher register and a lot more harmonics. Well, a lot more harmonics driven, I should say. There's actually more during the main riff. But then we get to the second verse, and it's just that bass line, and then kicks back into the main riff. And then there's the bridge or interlude right before the last chorus with the key change, and that's just another variation, right? It's a harmonic variation. If you play it with the main riff harmonics, it should sound like a harmony is happening. But yeah, a lot of variations. And I mentioned the key change in that last chorus. That came way later. That was one of the last things. I just kind of experimented with it and was like, you know what, let's try it. Why not? And it happened to work. Happened to work pretty well. And one thing that I struggled with a little bit was, okay, I just took it up a whole tone, so 2 half steps, right? And that's very different. That is very different from the original key. It might not feel like it or sound like it when you hear about it, but it is actually very different. It's difficult to harmonize back into the main riff, but just singing that last note a little bit different made the entire difference, and it made that transition super smooth, and I like it. You'll notice as well, another variation was in the second chorus, right? So the first chorus, I'm just playing middle register chords, and it's nice and light. And I use the word I instead of we. It's personal, it's my loss. How am I going to get through it? The second and third choruses are both we pray and scrape our memory. Different, but grieving is not a solo project. I like to say that about mental health in general. It's not a solo project. You cannot do it all alone. We are social creatures. But getting back to the topic, that last line, that last note that I sing in the second chorus goes down. But in the final chorus, it goes up. And lo and behold, it harmonizes perfectly back into what will, for want of a better term, the post-chorus riff, which I end with. So there's a lot going on in this song, and I think it's beautiful. It's one of my favorites, and I hope you enjoy it just as much. So what is the meaning of murals? Well, it is just simply to find beauty in loss, or through it, you know, paint that blackness with a beautiful memory, or memories. And, you know, that's something that I struggle with immensely, but I also believe in it as immensely. So hopefully I can get better at it and also inspire somebody else to get better at it as well, or to be good at it, you know, to try. Because it is a very tall order. Loss is something that we all face. Everybody grieves differently. This song is hopefully there to provide you some comfort during that time. I need it just as much as anybody else. I'm definitely no master at it, but maybe that's why it's so necessary. Maybe that's why it came through me. I don't know. I don't really think about stuff like that. I just kind of write the stuff and then think about it later, and you're kind of getting a first-hand look into what that looks like. I'll get more into this during the meaning portion. I lost me train of thought. I lost me train of thought. Big sip of coffee. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to have links to the lyric video and the playthrough down in the description below. Be sure and check those out. Thank you so much for watching and listening. See you soon.